Would you guys agree that the builder is nothing without the gameplay? Regardless of how many builds 2K allows you to make, and if 2K increases build diversity for NBA 2K26 is completely irrelevant if 2K sliders restrict your performance on the court. I'll give you guys an example. One of the best builds in 2K history was the NBA 2K20 two-way slashing playmaker build. Let's pull up the stats for what one of those builds looked like. An 87 driving dunk. What does an 87 driving dunk look like on NBA 2K25? Surely you'll be able to finish, but you're not gonna dominate. 2K25's gameplay sliders restrict what you're capable of doing with an 87 driving dunk. Or how about that 64 three ball? Any of you guys think you can put a 64 three ball on a point guard in NBA 2K25? Think you'll be able to hit your shots consistently with a 64 three ball? And tell me this, at the point guard position, running the one, an 82 ball handle will prove to be sufficient on NBA 2K25? I know a lot of you guys know the answer to this. That's a hell nah. But that's the thing, y'all. The build you're seeing on screen, not only was it sufficient and viable, it was dominant and it was considered the meta in NBA 2K20. It was the premier sought after point guard build for most players. 2K allowed this particular build with these particular attributes to do almost anything on the court. Now y'all get the picture, huh? A build that was once the meta just 5 years ago could do almost anything on the court 5 years later is rendered damn near useless. How many of you guys would create something like this for NBA 2K25? And just to let you guys know, this wasn't my build in NBA 2K20. This was LaMonster's build, one of the best point guards at that time, and he was one of those players that a lot of you guys would seek out to find out the best point guard build to make. Well, this was it. A 6'5 build with an 86 wingspan. We don't even see 6'5 point guards in NBA 2K25 to certain height cap restrictions or attribute restrictions. Height cap and attribute restrictions preventing you guys from getting effective animations or even moving effectively on the court. But it's said by 2K and 2K insiders that these limitations will be removed for NBA 2K26, bringing back more of a 2K19 to 2K20 type of vibe. Now I need to put this on the table because I ain't in agreement with the idea of allowing a 64 three-ball point guard to be super effective in NBA 2K26. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see 82 ball handle point guard builds going crazy. And I surely don't want to see an 87 driving dunk postering everybody out there. One thing I will say is that this build was the most fun, hands down. There's not even no comparison on no 2K ever. I didn't have this particular two-way slashing playmaker build, but I did run a two-way slashing playmaker build all the way to legend on NBA 2K20. But you want to know what the beautiful thing was? Is that there were many effective builds out there. If I'm not mistaken, NBA 2K20 had the playmaking shot creator build. We had paint beasts going crazy in the paint. Rim protectors or rebounding rim protectors were dominant, and lockdowns had their place as well. The restrictions on gameplay were non-existent compared to where they are now. And this made room for endless hours of just fun gameplay. 2K has already promised build diversity in NBA 2K26. Both tall guards and short guards are going to be effective. Now that's all good, fine and dandy in black and white, but over the last few years in particular, 2K has struggled in defining what's effective. And it goes without saying that what 2K considers effective is not agreeable with the good majority of the 2K community. One of the best and most dominant player that I've seen in recent years, I would even make the argument that he's been the most impactful player, forcing leagues to restructure how they're run, and at times being banned from certain leagues because he's just too dominant. Other players just didn't want to face off against him. JOEKNOWS says that his most fun build was his NBA 2K20 two-way slashing playmaker build. Let's take a listen to what JOEKNOWS has to say about the 2K26 builder and gameplay. All right, yeah, so we're here with JOEKNOWS. I'm gonna let this joint play off.
The NBA 2K26 builder has been a hot topic. A lot of people are saying they want to go back to pie charts or archetypes, double archetypes. They want a completely new builder. They want to keep the builder system we have now. The builder is not an isolated thing. The builder is not something that we can just say, I want XYZ builder and the game will be great. Because the builder is completely dependent upon the gameplay that comes with it. There's a lot of people on Twitter saying they want to go back to an old build system. Let's use pie charts, for example. They'll say, oh, 2K20, there were so many builds I could make, and it was because the pie charts. It was not because of the pie charts. It was because of the gameplay working with the pie charts.
Absolutely. You guys know I just showed you the two-way slashing playmaker from NBA 2K20, and imagine having those type of stats on NBA 2K25's restrictive gameplay. It'd be impossible to be effective. But anyway, I'll let it continue on.
Gameplay allowed multiple pie charts to be effective.
Absolutely.
For example, my favorite build of all time is my LeBron build from 2K20. That build had a 65 three-pointer. Now, if you took that build system and that build and put it with 2K25 gameplay, I would not be able to run point guard in Comp Pro-Am with a 65 three-pointer.
It'd be
It's
impossible.
just not going to happen in 2K25 gameplay. It just wouldn't happen. The gameplay would not allow it. An 89 dunk on 2K25 is like a decent finishing build. Not super elite, not super trash, but right in the middle.
Absolutely.
So you can still dunk, but you're not
And
super
look at what you're
elite.
doing on
My build in
2K20. He's
2K20 was
bodying
dunking
folks.
everything, but that's what the gameplay allowed with an 89 driving dunk. An 89 driving dunk on 2K25 is night and day difference compared to 2K20. So the gameplay has a huge effect on what the builder is going to allow to be effective. Even something as small as animation thresholds can affect how you view a builder tremendously. Let's think about 2K25. The cutoff for guards most people use is 6'4", because Garland dribble style cuts off at 6'4", and Patty Mills jump shot base cuts off at 6'4".
Now, I just want to add this because this is another thing that I think 2K just gets wrong. They make certain dribble styles way more effective than other dribble styles. The speed boost you get using Garland's dribble style is unmatched compared to the other ones, as well as the Patty Mills jump shot. There's a reason why it's so sought after by 2K players on NBA 2K25, because it's a super fast shot that's really difficult to contest. I'll let it play on.
People don't even look at a 6'5" guard for the most part. If in 2K25 they allowed Garland dribble style and Patty Mills jump shot base to go 1 inch higher, all of a sudden you would see a bunch of different guard builds that you haven't seen all year.
Well, that's what they're proposing. They're proposing even taller builds than 6'5", not just 1 inch above like the norm for NBA 2K25. They're proposing something like 6'7s, maybe even 6'9s and 6'10s to be effective ball handlers on NBA 2K26. And what's considered effective is still yet to be determined until we actually see what 2K allows for NBA 2K26 gameplay.
Animation cutoff thresholds have a big impact. I'm not only talking about the attribute cutoff thresholds, but also the height cutoff thresholds. If they were to make that little change of just removing the height caps, and I'm not saying this is the solution, I'm just saying use it as an example. If that happened, think about how different the game would be. Think about how many different builds would now become viable and people would be creating it and how much more diversity it would have. Now, I'm not saying that's the solution. I'm just saying open your mind up to just how that simple little change all of a sudden would make a ton of other builds viable. You have to know what you're getting into with the gameplay before you can say, okay, I want this type of builder. So even if the builder promotes diversity, let's say 2K25 builder, you can literally put the attributes wherever you want. But because the gameplay doesn't promote diversity as well, it becomes very narrow-minded in terms of the build you're.
It's just restrictive. You're unable to perform. Like, your attributes are higher than what the attributes were for NBA 2K20. Your attributes are higher on NBA 2K25, but you can't perform nearly as well as you performed 5 years ago. I'll let this joint continue playing.
If they don't work together, it doesn't matter that the builder allows you to make quote-unquote whatever you want, because the gameplay is restricting what builds can be effective.
Salute to JOEKNOWS for even sharing his feedback on this topic, because I get asked all the time, what build am I going to make? Or like, what's going to be my first build on NBA 2K26? And it's so hard to tell. Normally, I take the safe route as the first build right before, 2K drops the many patches that change the whole gameplay in front of us. But one of the things that I worry about is that, within the first weeks, 2K is going to allow certain builds to be effective, and then they'll get nerfed, rendering the same builds that were once effective completely useless after a patch. Do you guys think that this type of stuff may be intentional so 2K could get an additional bag as you guys create new builds to adjust for new patches? I'm definitely curious to hear your thoughts on this stuff, so share them in the comment section below. If any of you guys are new here, consider dropping a like and a sub on your way out, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all. If you guys are tired of running with randoms and you're looking for players to run with on NBA 2K, come on out and join the AllCity 2K Discord. The link will be in the description below. Find players and get runs now. Drop a like and drop a sub on your way out. Leave your thoughts and comments in the comment section below. I'll catch you guys on the next video. Easy, y'all.